Welcome to the fifth episode of What's Up with Startups. I'm Emin Askerov, the host, and my guest today is Duke O, the founder and CEO of JR Energy Solution, located in Republic of Korea. Hello, Duke, and welcome to the show.
Okay, hello, Emin. Before I get into my introduction, I would like to thank you to give me the opportunity to have an interview with you. As you already introduced, my name is Duke O. I'm the CEO and founder of JR Energy Solution. JR Energy Solution is based on the foundry business model, which we don't develop battery technology, but we more focus on the manufacturing side, such as TSMC in the semiconductors. So my job, our company mission is to provide manufacturing capability to startup and existing battery makers who are struggling to get into the mass production stage. That's what we are doing in Korea right now.
So this is a manufacturing as a service model, we can say.
That's correct.
And the idea is to actually help other green tech companies who are making batteries, who are making cells, to avoid the investments, which are quite significant investments in electrode production, and to be able for them to enable to quicker get the products to the market. Just for those who are not really familiar with the battery technology, let me just do a quick explanation that the electrode is the part of the battery, which is the critical part of the battery. And this is where most of your chemical reaction happen, electrochemical reaction happens. So this is cathode and anode, and is separated together, and making them is a really technologically intensive and difficult process. So, and that's where you usually get your battery wrong. So if it's not good electrode, that's nothing else can fix it. So
that's correct.
Yeah. So just a brief side note here. So Duke, you and I, we know each other for some time. We've been working together, I think, since 2020.
21.
Yeah, 21. Yeah. So we started working during the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
And, we haven't met in person for some time, and then finally in 2020. Yeah, in 2021 still, we were able to, when the restrictions were lifted. And for full disclosure, I currently in commercial relationship with JR Energy Solution as one of my clients. So keep that in mind. But hopefully that won't affect in any way the conversation we're having today. So Duke, please tell me, how did you come up with this idea of manufacturing as a service for your product?
So I have been in battery industry for over 20 years. I start my battery career in SK On right now. Previously, it was SK Innovation. Since then, I have been watching and seeing a lot of the difficulty, especially for battery startup and battery, even existing battery makers. So especially for the manufacturing side. And as you mentioned, that electrode manufacturing process is the most critical and most difficult process. So I decide to actually build up the manufacturing company, especially for electrode, then helping new makers, new startup to get into the mass production. That is the how I start to actually to start my own business right now.
Okay, I also remember that when you and I worked together at Enertech, Korean cell and electrode manufacturing company, we had one of our key client who was constantly just kept ordering electrodes from us. We were struggling to sell more high value added product, but actually the electrode business was quite stable and got attention from major battery producers. So you last month it's not last month. It was 2 months ago. It's February. You opened
February.
February. You've opened your first 500 megawatt hour factory. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And how did you decide on the size of your factory? Why it should be this big, not bigger, not smaller?
So when I actually decide to build up my own company, I did a very extensive market actually research. I would like to I try to understand the customers' unmet needs. What is their pain point, and then I realized that there are three things actually current customers and future potential customers are looking for. First one is that actually capacity. Right now a lot of the startup and also existing battery makers or new battery makers actually they want supplier to have enough capacity so they can make sure they can get the product electrode. So that's the one thing. And second thing is that our customers are looking for more advanced equipment suppliers. That means actually the outsourcing company like the JNA solution should have more proof, more mass production level of the equipment. And last one is yes, of course, the cost reduction because they want cheaper and good quality of the product. So in this sense, I have already potential customers and the very serious discussion with the customer, and 500 megawatt hour, our current capacity is good enough actually to start and to meet the current customer. But of course, we are going to build up second buildings or building, having 2 gigawatt, 3 gigawatt hour capacity. But as a start, I think 500 megawatt is good enough to accommodate the customer needs and the demand right now.
This is interesting because if for a person not familiar with the battery industry, or for a person who are like passingly familiar with the battery industry, when you read the news, you always hear about enormous gigafactories, like 40 gigawatt hour factory, 30 gigawatt hour, 70 gigawatt hour, huge factories which are coming online. And even I, in my conversations with investors and people who ask me about it, I tell that, look, if you really wanted to enter a battery manufacturing business, then you should build big factories, like at least like 10 gigawatt, 15 gigawatt. But your approach is different in the sense you target a different niche. And I would ask you, I would like to know, how did you convince investors to actually go for it? Because I would imagine you come to investor, okay, let's build a 500 megawatt electrode facility. And investors would immediately go, okay, everybody's building like tens and dozens of gigawatt hours. You asking us for electrode? Why should we do that? How did you manage to get their support? Because time-wise, you did it quite fast, I would say. I think we first had a conversation with you about your idea maybe year 2022, and now a factory up and running. What was your kind of a killing point for this?
So I mean, as you said, a lot of the company right now trying to build up the giga level factory, but most of them, sorry to say, but failed because of the lack of the experience or lack of the technology or lack of the money. Continuous the support right now, right? And I'm actually targeting not the electric vehicle, but also to the rich market, like IT devices, e-bike, military service. A lot of the battery needed, the market is going up, but this is a kind of the right now ignored by the market or big guys. But still, there are a significant market opportunity is there. So we are targeting this market, and even you said 500 megawatt hour is not that big as compared to the giga, but still it requires $40 million actually build up the plant. And also we need the very experienced in manufacturing the engineer, right? It's not easy to build up the gigawatt hour with the money and also the people. So we would like to go step by step. We would like to start with 500 megawatt hour, which is the manageable by us. And also we have the beginning, we are not going to have a big volume because, as there is a lot of the test has to be done, right? So we are more targeting first to the IT devices and moving to ESS and finally going to the the electric vehicle market. So I think our approach is more reasonable, more safe, and more actually the safe. And as you said, our invest is not financial investors, but more like strategic investors. So we work together to make the synergy. So the battery material supplier, equipment supplier, they actually join as our investor, but also they are the from their side, I'm also their customers. So they understand actually a market, and so easier for me to convince them. If I go to the financial investor, maybe it should be the more difficult, but they understand the market, they understand the situation, and also I have very strong relationship with these guys. So as a network, so they understand, they actually trust me. Actually, I can make it happen.
Okay, so I see. So the key here was to find the investors who are really deep into the market and who would be your either customers, your future customers, or your future suppliers. And so they would take a strategic position. And apart from this, I mean, it's like you are a person, okay, you have a lot of experience in the industry. You come and you say, just give me 40 million. Okay, that's okay. Business case is sound. We see the same. We would like to have it, but why you? Why do? Oh, what convinced them that you would be able to do that? You had the team ensemble, or you had some, or you put your own funds in, or how did you? Because I would imagine a lot of founders, they would come with this and they say, okay. It's a lot of times it's about the team or the founder itself. But then you usually get the funding like pre-seed round of like up to a couple of $100,000, maybe $1 million if you're lucky. But then you get 40 million. So what explains that success?
So I have actually co-founders. So as a founder and co-founder, we also invest our own money around the 1 million US dollars as a starting point. And actually, we have a very concrete business planning, strategy and execution planning. And also not only for our strategy, but also we have the execution plan. And we also put our own money to take a risk. And then I actually visit equipment first, equipment suppliers. We need equipment, right? Which also very good, proved the top tier equipment suppliers. So I met the mixing system suppliers and also coating, pressing system supplier. Then actually they agreed actually to invest the equipment cost. They said, okay, so we are going to provide equipment to you. And on the other hand, actually, we are going to invest your company the money, actually the equipment cost. So that is how we are going to start. Then later they agree, they join. Then it's much easier because we have a good strategy, and also we have an equipment, and we have a people actually working with us, from SK on, LG Energy Solution, and very good the people. We showing our plan, and then later it's much easier to get the money from the other the investor. And currently we do not have any financial investor in the A series or actually even we have customers to decide invest us. So we have we have a very strong partnership shareholder structures. For example, electrolyte suppliers also join, and mixing system suppliers and coating suppliers, and also our customer in Europe, actually they also decide to join. So this is how our shareholders is actually structured right now. Yes, for the B3, C3 for the expansion, definitely we are going to invite financial investors to further growth.
Okay, so that will be I would imagine it would be easy to get financial investors on board once you have the equipment, the material, and the customer as your investor. Well, that's great. Okay, so moving forward, so you got that investment, you convinced the customers, you convinced them, the equipment suppliers,
Yeah.
but then you still had to build the factory, and that you spent about a year, I think a little bit less, maybe even, to build the factory. What was the main challenge that you faced during this rapid, construction?
So first let me share the history of the JI Energy solution. As you know, I found the JI Energy solution exactly 2022 December 1st. So it has been I think 60 months right now from our starting, and actually at the time I was busy to get the money from the investors, also busy to design our the factory and equipment, and also busy to hire the key person. So we have done all the job actually in just 1 month, the 1 year, sorry, the 1 years. And exactly we did a groundbreaking ceremony in May 21st, 2023. Of course, before we did the groundbreaking, we already working with the suppliers to define the equipment. And then by the time actually we already ordered, so our supplier already start building up the machine. But at the same time, we start actually building up our the factory starting 2023 to May 2024. So it means actually we complete building construction almost in the 8 months, and by the time our machine actually comes in our factory in December 2023. So since then we did the installation and commissioning and trial run, and finally actually we start our mass production operation in February 8th. So that is the kind of the background history of the JNA solution for the first smart factory. But our challenge actually is the timing. So I already committed to investors and also our customers. We are going to start our operation beginning of the 2024. So we have to be in parallel to meet their timeline, right? And also quality, right? And safety. So managing all the three important aspects into the one piece is the most challenging. But fortunately, we are very lucky. Actually, we did everything in right timing and no safety issue. And actually, right now we are proud to produce the electrode to our customer in a good quality of the status right now.
Okay, but still, this is quite a complex project. I mean, to do.
Yes.
Even if 500 megawatt factory is still a complex project to execute in such a short time. I understand that one of the critical points to success was that you secured all of your equipment before you started actually building the factory. So the equipment manufacturers started to make the equipment, so you had no delays in equipment shipping, right?
Yep.
And then I would imagine that as soon as you get funds, then the actual box, the actual factory building should not be that complicated usually. However, from my experience in talking to other companies, and when I was like working in, say, in wind industry, one of the things that usually go wrong is when you get your factory, you get the all your equipment in, and then it doesn't work.
Exactly.
The actually launching of the factory can take some time, and I've seen, and you and I've seen, with some of the clients we spoke with, they said, "Hey, we've opened the factory, but no product is coming out like for the next year." It's not the case with you, I know. And how did you manage to work with this challenge?
So actually, I can say that we didn't work by ourselves. Actually, we have a very strong, partner to help us to do it. First, even for the, construction, this is a battery, right? Battery, the building has to be, something special, right? Because this is not the, same as, industrial building construction. So, building
Of
design
course.
is
Yes,
very,
you need the clean rooms, you need the
yeah,
temperature control.
and also everything, right? So actually, we hire the Gaon architecture design company who has, specialty in designing, battery factory. Actually, their main customer is SK On, and actually they did a lot of the experience working with the, LG, SK On, so they know how to design, optimize the battery, the plant. So we work with, Gaon, and also as I say already, we are working with, Yunzong FNC for the mixing system and PNT for the, coating, slitting, pressing, and they actually, they are top tier, but they put the top priority on our project, so they keep their, delivery timing, which is just 8 months actually, which is very very fast. So of course everything the happen at the same time. Design comes out, construction start, also equipment, build up. In the meantime, actually, we also in the middle of the raising our money. So everything was on time, but luckily, actually, there is no delay in one side. So we got a very strong, partner helping us to make it happen. So I think I very thankful that, we're having the good, partner. So of course, for the second building, so building, and so we got some inquiry or request from the customer who want also build up their own, the factory. Then we can bring them the knowledge, experience, the expertise, also helping them to build up their factory. Then in this case, we are going together with our current suppliers, current, the partners. So partnership is very important, and we believe that we are very good at, the partnership.
Okay, thanks. So if in a nutshell, you got one of the best companies you could find to
Yep.
design and help you organize this parallel tracks, where you could, as a founder, focus on investments, if I understand that correctly, and the rest could be taken, like the equipment, the design, the permitting, the actual construction, could be handled by people who have been doing this for a long time.
But I mean, still, this project, we have, responsibility, right, for the this project. They work, actually their side, right, their, specialty, but still we are managing, project managers, so the management system, right? So I could say we have a very strong in JNOs, we have a very strong, project management team who has the extensive, the knowledge, experience actually to build up, the battery factory, So we have a good, very experienced people from the, SKO, LG, and also, some battery makers in Korea.
This is a very good time to go into my next question, because you lead into it like very nicely. So you say you have a highly qualified team. Now, from my experience with running startups, it can be difficult to get qualified specialists, engineers to join your team, because they already have good job at the big corporation, get all the money they need. It's no hassle, there's no risk. Now, to join a startup is always a risk. So how did you convince them?
So, I mean, as you know, the battery industry, especially in Korea right now, growing very fast, right? But unfortunately, there's not enough, experience, very talented, the employee, right? Employee in, not only Korea, but also globally. Everyone, in battery industry, struggling to keep, right? To hire good, people. So actually, we cannot compete against, the LG, SK, SDI, right, in terms of the, compensation. But what I have done is actually sharing our vision. We want to be first and leading, the foundry company in battery industry. Like, the mission, our target is to become, the battery of the TSMC of the battery. That is our company goal. We want to be, the TSMC. So I share our vision and, strategy and, the strong execution, of course, we also guarantee a compensation if we succeed together, like stock option, as a startup. But financial reward cannot be the everything, right? Sharing, the vision and direction, right? And what you have done, right? And also as a startup, you learn a lot, right? So I think this is has to be the everything right now. But fortunately, they are convinced and they join, and we are very lucky because still we are hiring a lot of people, but we don't see the quite difficulty right now. So you have enough, the employee actually we can hire right now.
Okay, great. So the vision matters most, and especially if you have not only like the vision, but the business model, which
business
people.
model, yes, exactly.
Okay, so let's jump to a different subject here. Shift gears a bit. When you and I worked at Enatech, we tried to target big customers, and we already had big customers on board by the time, but in work of JR Energy Solution now, our joint effort now, I see that we focus more on helping startups who have a new technology, say for cathodes or for anode or for electrolyte, and they want to scale, and we help them to scale, by providing our manufacturing as a service. So I do see a lot of advantages to this targeting this segment, but why did you decide to skip working with manufacturer? Or maybe you didn't. I don't know. Maybe you still work with the big manufacturer, but actually and focus on the. But I still think if you still work with the big manufacturer, but your focus is still on the medium and small research companies and developers. Why is that?
I mean, this is a more like, our strategic, decision. Of course, we are not skipping, big, the guys like Samsung, LG, SK. We are not skipping that, but this is a more like, the strategic decision. So currently we have, our customer pipeline, in three category. One category is automotive OEM. As you know, a lot of automotive OEM right now are trying to develop by their own cell, but they are trying to outsource the manufacturing later. So in this case, we are also working with Korea, the automotive OEM, US, the OEM, but their status right now is R&D level. So in this case, volume is not that big, but we are supporting them because for the future expansion, for future growth, when they decide going to the mass production, then has to be more than gigawatt hour, the electrode, the foundry. So this is what we have done. And second is the existing battery makers such as LG, SK, but their volume is bigger, and also their market is the electric vehicle, which requirement and request is too harsh, and margin wise is a small, very small, right? It's very difficult, very competitive market. But small IT devices, the specific, application, new applications such as, military application, e-bike, premium e-bike, and also the, wearable, this is a volume wise is not this the big, but, requirement wise, it's not that big, not, the severe. And qualification process, as you know, automotive take, 2 years, 3 years, right? Then, sales will come, 2 years, 3 years. People you have to support, but this application market actually qualification takes at least at most in the 6 months. So okay. Very short, and margin wise quite good margin. That's why we are focusing on the small size of the IT devices application in short term, but mid term and long term, yes, definitely we are going into the volume game. But we are going to start with a small volume, then gaining the experience and the margin, then going into the second buildings of the building which are the gigawatt hour level. And even our startup customers, the new battery maker, they are struggling, but if they succeed into the market, then volume is going up. Then we are going to move this customer to the second building was so the factory which has 2 gigawatt hour or 10 gigawatt hour business. So this is our plan. Yeah, we are going to start with a 500 megawatt hour as a model factory. We are working various customer, gaining the experience and the making margin, then investing gigawatt hour, 10 gigawatt, and that's the kind of our thing. So yes, we are in the status right now to support small volume, but our vision is not here. Actually, going to the middle side and large side. But
Okay.
it should be the good start.
This is like a textbook approach of Clayton Christensen, the father of the disruptive innovation theory, where he actually explained that this is how the disruptive innovations work. You start with a small market, which has a very expensive, and niche application. And then you develop into a high volume, more commoditized market, which worked out many times in history. And yeah, probably should work out in your case as well. And so you already touched on your plans for growth, and but more like in a strategic manner. What are your more tactical plans for growth? You just opened the 500 megawatt factories. This year. What's going to be next year or the year after?
So as I introduced at the beginning of this interview, I said our business model is based on the foundry, and I continue to talk about the electrode foundry. But our next target is not only for the electrode, but we are also going into the cell assembly foundry with a bigger the customer. That is our actually the growth the planning right now. So currently, as I said, we have been working with the automotive OEM and some new battery makers in Europe and US and Asia. So right now they are not in the mass production status, but we are helping them and also making them survive. Then when they go into the big volume, then definitely we are going to have either our own investment or joint venture with specific customers, not only for the electrode but also the cell assembly. So we are going into the growth stage with the partnership. So we are not going, but in this case we are taking care of electrode side, and we are making the joint venture with also for the cell assembly. And it means we can actually have our captive customer for the electrode business. So this is actually reinforcing our core business, but we are also getting to the also cell assembly the business as foundry, and cell itself has the high sales price than the electrode. So that is our planning, and most likely we are going to have a few joint venture partners in cell assembly as well in US and Korea, and we already discussed the possibility of making the joint venture for cell assembly line in Korea with our partners targeting for the automotive OEM in Korea.
Okay, great. But what would be the main challenge that you think you will face in this growth? But for example, you are chemistry agnostic, I can say. So you're not really focusing on a particular cathode or anode. So that could be a strength when it against like the new inventions that come in, like for example, the sodium batteries now, all the rage, and new LFPs and the solid state batteries should be coming somewhere around the corner. Even one of the startups I met, they work on what's the name? The sulfur batteries.
Lithium sulfur.
Lithium sulfur batteries, yes. Which I thought would be like 5 or 10 years away, but they seems to be already here, at least in US. So what is your main challenge? Is it other chemistries, or is it other business models, or is it scaling, or is it something else?
So you mentioned about the bands, right? A lot of the opportunity, a lot of the potential, or the bands, the chemistry or some manufacturing, right? Of course, but I don't see the big challenge for the new chemistry. Even new chemistry, the manufacturing process should be the same, right? They use they have to be the mixing, coating, right? So it's not going to change our manufacturing process a lot. This is a big advantage to us, unless they go into the, for example, solid state battery. Even solid state battery, there is a, cathode, anode, electrode needed. So from our perspective, even the technology advanced in terms of the chemistry, in terms of the process, but still for us, still we are safe. But what we have worried, we are concerned is that our customers, potential our current customers as a startup, new battery makers, they have to survive, right? They have to go into the mass production. Then actually we work together. So that's why we are getting more and more the reinforcing our pipeline. So if some of them fail, but still, we have some. So this is something, we are actually concerned that who is going to survive? Who is going to survive is the most important, the concern, from us. And some of our investor customer, asking, okay, you have one customer, then later they may have a desire to have their own factory. Then you are going to lose your, customer. What do you think? I said, yes, of course, there is a possibility they can do it, but it matters actually whether we are more optimized or not. Then when they making device, them right. Then in this case, actually we can offer smart factory solution. Yes, they want to do it, then do it. But still, they need a consulting, some service. Then we can provide it. So not only we are making electrode, but we are also offering smart factory solutions. So like I said, our vision is to become the TSMC. We are not just outsourcing company, but we are going to lead the working with the customer together. That's our vision. So in order to do it, actually we has to be systematically ready. So that's why we already set up our ERP system, MaaS system. So we are also adopting the AI system to make our manufacturing process experience more advanced. So this is more challenging to us, how we are going to make the differentiation right now and more optimized. I think that's, so we said, okay, well, we don't want to be snobbish, but actually we said right now is more like our capability rather than the outside right now competitors.
So as a kind of your plan B, you design your factory and you work in your factory as a potential franchise, I would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, guys, you want to build, you see it works fine in our factory, fine, build it yourself. But you can just, outsource it to everything. Like, if you just want to open like a Subway kiosk selling sandwiches, you just get everything. You get the machines, you get the instructions, you get the training. There you go. Which could be like a pivot in the future if people decide that they have the capital to invest in this, and rather than to be asset light and keep you as asset heavy company. Okay. Well, great. That's great to have a plan B here.
So that's why also we want to be in the cell assembly line, the business. I think some customers they also want one-stop service. So electrode is not good enough. Then okay. So most of the customer, yes, they have a capability for the R&D, but they are struggling for mass production, especially electrode manufacturing side. So in this case, they are outsourcing electrode, but so some of the customer startup, they just rely on everything for us. So there is no license business model yet, but we certainly believe there is also opportunity for the license business for the families. The families means the company who focus or specialize only design, and they actually give us the license, and actually we're using their recipe to build up not only electrode but also cell assembly, then sell to the end users. That is also another kind of the business model, and we have found out already multiple the families the R&D in a company. So we saw in this case we don't have our own the R&D spending investment people, but still we can get the recipe, then we can sell to the our end customers. So we become LG, SK, but we don't have the R&D, but still we can build up our own cell to sell to the end users. Not electric vehicle, but more, fragmented market, right? So, so that is our targeting.
Okay. Okay. Great to see. Just one more remark on the way you actually do things before we will go to the concluding questions. You said you put a lot of emphasis in your answers in your story on partnerships you make with the suppliers, the
Yep.
equipment, the material, the
Yep.
clients. Apart from that, apart from those partners, did you involve or do you use now any other outside help, like, I don't know, accelerators, mentors, investors, government, consultants, somebody else?
Not exactly. We are getting the support from the outside because, as you say, we have a very strong, very experienced, very capable, team right now in terms of, in the area of the marketing and strategy and also investment, and also, manufacturing. But the one thing we are missing is the global, the footprint right now, right? So that's why I'm working with you because since we are in Korea, we cannot take care of everything right now, right? So, I think in terms of the marketing and sales relationship, actually, we can get some consult from you guys, you and also US. I think that's the one actually things actually we are getting support right now.
Okay.
But other than that, still, of course, we are also working with the university or some, very well-known, the professional for the battery industry. We are getting some, technical, advice, but, not much actually. But, marketing-wise, relationship-wise, still, we need, the support from the, the local, very experienced, the guys like
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So now let's take a little step back and if you could go back like to 2022, just before you founded the company or when you founded and you started, would there be anything else that you would have done differently from just looking at your experience? Okay, maybe here I should have, would go here or take less time with this or use a different hiring methods or something which you think, okay, looking back with the benefit of hindsight, probably should have done this different way.
So actually, I have a internal team meeting today to see how we are going to, expand, our capacity, beside, second building, because, second factory is 2025, 2026, also, more than 100 million US dollar investment. So as the interim is the intermediate, solution, we are going to have, additional machine in the smart factory first, then we can increase the capacity. So this is something we don't quite consider, but this is a kind of not issue, but this is more urgent because we have a more customer right now. So we should not we should maximize our the building capacity, but right now a little bit needed. So that's the one thing. And second thing is that we set up our machine as a like standard. But right now, we got a lot of requests from the customers, such as LG, SK, for the more advanced manufacturing technologies. For example, dual layer coating or some insulation coating. But we thought it was the person needed, but at the time, okay, we cannot put everything right as a starting point. But right now, it's okay, a little bit, this is a more additional investment, additional effort, additional time needed. So if we consider more advanced one, then could be okay. But it's something we not neglect, but right now actually something we should consider then much easier for it now. But that's the thing we are right now working on the new technology right now. Yeah.
So there were different niches, like more focused, more technologically advanced. So you just okay, we just use the plain and simple, not simple of course, but electrode manufacturing, which we think would be demand. There is a demand, but then there's additional demand. Say, okay, guys, but we actually need some very specific electrode. Which you cannot do on the typical machine that is available.
Mm.
Okay.
Not special, but the way of the manufacturing process is kind of a little bit different. For example, dual layer coating means actually normally we do the single coating, right? One coating, but dual layer coating actually we do first coating, second coating. So
Mhm.
actually for the better adhesive, so something like that. Actually, we don't actually have dual layer coating, but actually we have a space in our coating machine, because at the time we also believe, okay, later is needed, but if we did at the time, then much, because we saw right now we have some customer demand for the dual layer coating right now. So
Yeah.
something, but still not late, but if you done before, much easier. So
Could be go a little bit faster.
yeah, faster, and
Okay. Okay. Okay, great. And then I have a final question for you. What would you recommend other green tech startups who are just starting out? I mean, what should they watch out for from your experience?
Uh, I mean, of course, as a startup, actually, we are getting a lot of money from the investors. So, I don't really consider, governance issue at the beginning. But, right now, we got a lot of the not challenging, but kind of the inquire interest from the the investors, because when you at the end you should go into the IPO, right? Then governance the can be the the issue, but as a startup, and I founder and by myself, founder, co-founder, we want to make it happen, but we don't too much consider about the governance, but later governance can be the problem.
You
So I
mean
think
corporate governance? Corporate
yeah,
governance, working
the
with the
corporate
board.
government.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because as a the co-founder, actually, we are not the majority right now, because it requires too much money, but I don't have that money much. So that means we have to bring the investors. So we are the second largest shareholders, but our potential investor, they believe you are the founder, co-founder. You have to take the lead. You have to be the like largest shareholder, blah blah blah. But this is not something I really consider. But right now, this is not the big issue. But when it comes to the IPO, then certainly it can be some concern from our investors, because they believe, they trust the founder, co-founder, right? Their mission, their vision. That's why they invest. So
Mhm.
but this is something as a start, even as a startup, should consider plan for the some shareholder investment. Of course, we need the money, but
Yeah.
still think about it. There's a challenge. And second challenge is yes, from my experience, the we actually promise, right? We actually explain our vision, but still important is the execution and performance. Otherwise you cannot make the success. So yes, you could have a good strategy, but also you have to have a good execution, and at the end fight the performance. Otherwise nobody then you cannot be no success. Yes, of course we are in the middle, but still what we are actually the we are proud is that still up to now actually we keep all the promise, but actually we did to our investors, our employees, and our suppliers, the customers.
Okay. Okay. That's great. So that's great because now, for the time that I have interviewed startups now, no one actually mentioned the governance issues. Probably because they're either too early or a different market, and they would not have those yet. And so the founders would or usually own more control in the company. But it's important to know when you actually go big scale and you want to grow
Yep,
fast, you go and
yep,
then you will have them, and then you will have to spend a lot of time actually focusing on working with your shareholders. And
yep,
uh,
exactly.
yeah, so that's important. Okay, so thank you very much for this, Duke, for this conversation. Always enjoy talking to you, and
Yep,
I wish us
yep,
best of luck.
yep,
And
yep. Good luck. Yep.
I really like this conversation that we had today, in a sense that I focus. I think the problem, one of the biggest problem with the green tech industry, is that we it's very difficult to get a good idea and to actually get it.
Yeah.
You have good ideas where you have VC financed and they work nice in the laboratory, make good videos, make good articles in the media about it. But then after a couple of years, they get nowhere. So actually getting them to the market is an important business in itself. And I think it's the most important because we need to accelerate this, clean technology deployment. And what is interesting is that you can go inside and actually we can have a startup that enables other startups to get the market.
Exactly. Helping each other, right?
Yes, because people tend to focus on, sexier parts of this business, which, cutting edge tech, silicon anodes, all kind of very fancy science, which is good. But then you actually need to make it.
Exactly. So we are helping them to make it happen. So
yes. And this may not sound so sexy, but it does sound, I think, very business-wise and investment-wise a good approach. And I would love to see more companies actually going into this kind of space. And with this interview, I also hope to get the word out, say to investors, talk to investors, guys, don't only look at this kind of the fancy scientific startup, also look at the hardcore, manufacturers who actually make this. So,
we don't do those sex things, but actually we are necessary to make them sexy, right?
Yes, to make them available, to make them
have
price, and actually people can enjoy that.
Exactly.
So thank you very much, Duke. Thank you very much for taking time.
Thank you very much for the great opportunity to have a talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And so everybody, see you next episode.